And I need you. And I miss you.
You know, back in my day, when there weren't a million different streaming services, I used to channel stuff occasionally when I was bored, and sometimes I would come across things like this, and this, or that. What is that? In my last video, I recapped the goofiest and peakest movie ever, but instead of talking about one singular film, today I'm gonna be going over several that I thought were a bit peculiar, a bit goofy, a bit disastrous. If you know this film, then I assume you're familiar with its other title, The Worst Movie Ever, and we have these guys to thank for that. Imagine being the best at making a bad film. That is a terrible accolade. Honestly, with this film, I don't know where to start, but I guess we'll begin with the plot and see where we go from there. Don't get it twisted though, this video is still about goofy films, but I never said they were all gonna be good ones. Disaster Movie is about a group of people trying to survive the apocalypse. But as they embark on this journey, a few things happen. Number 1, each and every person in this unlikely group of friends slowly meets their demise, and thank goodness Kim K was the first to go.
Isn't there anybody that can help?
They really tried to make her a main character. Luckily, that didn't last long. Number 2, they come across everything and everyone that was popular from around the same time period that this was released in. The movie started off with a 25-year-old celebrating his sweet 16, and somehow we end up with an evil Kung Fu Panda. I don't know why they had Poe smiling like Freaky Fred. It scared me then and it low-key scares me now. And I get that it's a parody movie, but there's still a way to go about it. It just feels like a challenge of how many things can be referenced in 90 minutes. This film is the pinnacle of nonsensical, from the plotline to the assortment of characters, right down to the very questionable love story. The main character ends up marrying his girlfriend, even though in the first scene of the movie, bro woke up next to her, him and him. Wait a minute, you're a cuck! More often than not, goofy movies are very enjoyable, but in this case, no. I watched Disaster Movie as a kid a few years after it came out and I thought it was okay. But like I said, I was a kid, I didn't know anything. But then I rewatched it for the sake of the video and I swear my IQ was lowering by the second. This just might be the OG brain rot because anything just be happening in this film. I am so glad I was too young to understand that. Even if you haven't seen this film, you may be aware of this one scene where Alvin and the Chipmunks all start to move like King Von and try to catch a body, which they do, successfully. But what I don't get is, why does no one ever talk about the fact that they packed up my childhood hero, Hannah Montana? This is real, this is... Oh wait, that's not even her, that's Demi Lovato. Anyway, I've given this movie enough screen time. Let's move on to White Chicks, a straight classic. A movie that's based on 2 detectives cosplaying as white girls, since apparently that was the only way to solve the case. I watched that scene back and Kevin did not try nearly hard enough to convince the girls to go to the Hamptons. The white girls said they're not going, and Kevin was like, alright bet, and they changed gender. Like bro, just say you wanted to do this, we don't judge around here. For the majority of this film, everyone seems blind to the conspicuous masculine features, except for these girls, but they're too dumb to put 2 and 2 together. The other feds that were also assigned to the case managed to crack that the white chicks were also their colleagues, but when it came down to it, these men were just as clueless as everyone else. Can no one in this film tell the difference between a man and a woman? And then we have Terry Crews playing as Latrell, an American football player who's infatuated with the snow bunnies so much that he too is also blind to the truth.
A white girl with a black girl's ass. I'm taking that home to mama.
I beg your pardon?
And when the grand reveal was made, he was disappointed that he wasn't white. Are we just gonna overlook the fact that he's a man?
Didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party? Huh? Someone get this jigaboo away from me.
That friendly fire is crazy. Dr. Umar would have had a field day with Latrell. This is unrelated, but after last year, I can never look at an all-white party the same. I have this one theory that Latrell was low-key in the closet because he dated a black man and slept with a white one. Nigga, you're a gay! Marlon Wayans has also been in a couple other movies of a similar nature, for example Little Man, where his face was superimposed onto this guy's body and he went around pretending to be a child, when in reality, he was a wanted jewel thief. It also happens to be another movie where everyone has a negative IQ. And then we have Sex Tuplets where he played 6 different characters. I'm starting to think he just likes to dress up. One thing I'll never forget is how White Chicks introduced us to 1,000 Miles. A certified banger if I do say so myself, just like The Mask. It would be an injustice to not put a Jim Carrey movie in this video. That man is nothing short of pure entertainment. Carrey plus animation is a combo I never thought I needed until I saw this. For those who haven't seen this film, why haven't you seen this film? But nonetheless, The Mask has a very simple plot. Jim Carrey finds a mask, it bonds him like a symbiote, and he proceeds to tweak out for 90 minutes. Actually, I said that wrong. What I should have said was, it's 90 minutes of Jim Carrey being himself behind a mask. Anyone with the mask was basically Bugs Bunny in real life. Stanley slept on the mask, and that same night, he committed like 10 crimes. He then woke up the next day and thought it was all a dream. Like, bro, you're wanted by the police and the mafia. Stanley got creative and used his new abilities to drop game on this lady right here, which I think is a great use of power. And with great power comes Zoolander. Yeah, I know that wasn't smooth, but shh. I've known about this film for a while now, but only decided to watch it last year simply because of the memes. Plus, it was on Netflix one day and I don't pay for the account, so it's a win-win. Zoolander is about a model called Derek that loses his status in the world of fashion. He tries to 180 his career and in the process gets scouted by a model agency that's run by this guy. And by his appearance, you can tell that he's a very bad man. So bad that he brainwashed Derek to kill the president of Malaysia. And the reason he chose Derek is, well, he's an airhead, just like his friends who decided to play with petrol and fire. There's also some lore which the movie explains that throughout history, models have been used to do political hits because they seem to have the same peak physical condition that is needed for assassins. The plot is cool, I'll give it that, but there are some parts where I'm like, what's going on here? There's a part in the movie where Derek had a dance battle with a guy called Hansel, which I thought was aight. They had Michael Jackson's Beat It playing in the back as well. But then they decided to go band for band in another way that did not involve dancing. Even the way Derek defeated the main antagonist was quite unique, should I say. He stopped Mugati from killing the president by making a face that he had been developing for over 9 years.
There it is. Magnum.
You know what? I changed my mind. This film is a masterpiece, and so is Ratatouille. And I know what you're thinking. Ratatouille? Why is Ratatouille here? We love Ratatouille. And I do too. The film is very much goated, but have you actually taken the time to deep the plot? We've got a rat chefing it up in the kitchen. Goofy! For those who haven't seen it in a while, I'm gonna give you the cliff notes. A rat named Remy and his family end up evacuating their home after they were made by an old lady with a shotgun. Damn, that thing is throwing her about. Remy ends up in the Sea of Love, Paris, and becomes friends with a guy named Linguini. One thing that I never really processed when I was younger was the fact that Remy manipulates Linguini by the strands of his hair like he's a puppet. Just sit with that for a sec. Lucky for Linguini, Remy's a nice frat and didn't use him for evil, but rather helped him get a shawty. I know my boy Linguini needed the help, I can tell he's got no game. As a matter of fact, Remy done a lot for Linguini. He saved his job, taught him how to cook, got him a girl. This is so magnificent. However, that can never be me because I ain't letting no rat be better than me at anything. If I was Linguini, I'ma change career ASAP. The main message of the film is that anyone can cook, and they run with it to the max because Remy cooked a dish so incredible that it gave a critic flashbacks to his mother's cooking. Does that mean his mum cooks like a rat? Also, where are the health inspectors when you need them? Because Remy had his entire bloodline in that kitchen making food for everyone. Do you guys think they could have packed him up? To be honest, a lot of animated movies are on a similar wavelength when you think about it. Talking cars, flying carpets, pets living as humans, etc. And that's the beauty of animation. It gives you the ability to create to your heart's content. And it's a good thing animation exists because can you imagine if Ratatouille was live action? The amount of rats roaming on the screen would be horrifying. At that point, it wouldn't even be a movie, it would just be a documentary about New York. I've never even been to New York and even I know it's disgusting. And with that, I conclude yet another video. And as usual, that's all she wrote.
語れない眠れないとろい目